Hello and welcome to Vlogmas Day 5. Okay, so I did start a vlog this morning. It is now like 8:52 p.m. and I only have one 2-minute clip for this vlog so far. Also, what is that noise? Okay. So I've decided that I'm going to actually take one of y'all's recommendations or questions you've given me in the comments, and today I'm going to be giving you my favorite holiday and winter book recommendations. Now, I have to admit that the holiday book recommendations make a lot of sense, but the winter ones don't really, you have to just trust me on this one. The books I chose for the winter part of this video are not necessarily all set in winter or snowy or anything like that. These are books that when I think of these books that I've read, I would love to be in a cabin with snow falling outside and a warm fireplace and just be enthralled in these books again. So that is why I have picked the books that I have picked on this list. So we will start, because it's Vlogmas, we will start with the holiday books. So first I have two books by B.K. Borison. I have Lovelight Farms, which was the first book I read from her, and then I also have Good Spirits. Now I haven't finished Good Spirits. I'm a little over halfway through and I'm really enjoying it, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put it on the list. But Lovelight Farms is a fake dating, best friends to lovers. We've got our main character as she is working on a Christmas tree farm, and she enters she somehow gets wrapped up in this social media competition that's basically like whoever has the best couple, holiday moments, wins this prize. I can't remember. I read it over a year or 2 years ago, but I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. It was groundbreaking for me because I hadn't really read holiday romance before. But then also, so that was the first one. And then Good Spirits is following the Ghost of Christmas Past in his chapters, Nolan, and I don't know why I can't speak all of a sudden. And in her chapters, Harriet is being haunted by Nolan, and she is trying to figure out what she needs to atone for in order for him to move on. So far, I'm really enjoying it. I didn't like her middle release in between Lovelight Farms, and she's had a few releases, but the one I read in between, which was First Time Caller, I actually DNF'd and unhauled that. So I was really nervous going into this, but I've seen this book everywhere, and I really am just glad that I picked it up. So next, I have How My Neighbor Stole Christmas by Megan Quinn. This is another 5-star. I read this last year. This one is quite long. I think it's 500 pages, which, if you know me, romance does not need to be over 350 max. So this was a lot for me to read, but I had such a fun time with it. This follows, I can't remember any character names in any of these books I'm about to talk about, so please forgive me. But this follows our main character as she is going back to visit her aunt that she always saw during Christmas time, and she is going to be entering this holly jolly festival, who's the jolliest person in town kind of thing. And her arch nemesis, who was once her best friend, he is also entering the contest. And it is just so good. There's a whole bunch of festivities that go on. There's festivities that go on, and there's competition, and it's all holiday competition. So it's cookie decorating and tree decorating, and it is so good and fills your cup of holidayness. So, and lastly, I have Cruel Winter with You by Ali Hazelwood. This is a short novella. This follows our main character as she is her brother's best friend has been in love with her forever, and this is basically them just coming to terms with the fact that that is a thing between the two of them. So very good. Like I said, I don't know if my camera has much battery left, but my phone got full of storage, so we're just gonna continue on the camera. But yes, novella, very good. I hope you pick it up and enjoy it. Now we're moving on to my winter reads. Like I said, these are not necessarily set in winter or anything, but they give me that vibe of just coziness, and I just want to sit there and just absorb these stories. So first I have, listen, this has become like an inside joke on my channel, but Charlotte McConaughey. I read 2 of her books this year. One was 4 stars, which is Migrations. The second one was Wild Dark Shore, and that was 5 stars. She's just a fantastic author, and I really just cannot recommend her enough. And her books are just so gut-wrenching and just, oh my gosh, you have to read them. You have to read them and tell me about them, please. I'm going to be reading Once There Were Wolves. That's another book of hers that I haven't read, that I actually recently bought, so I'll be reading that soon. Next I have, I'm not going to tell you what those are about. Migrations is about, apparently I am going to tell you what they're about. Migrations is about a woman who is basically on the run from her past, and she wants to chase these birds that are on their last migration. Charlotte McConaughey writes climate fiction, so in this world in particular, our world has come to the point where there's basically no wild animals left, and so she is chasing these birds just to watch their last migration before they eventually go extinct. And of course there's like other players that come into it, you know, characters we meet along the way, relationships we make, but it's really just a transformative story. So really enjoyed that. And then Wild Dark Shore is about a family that lives on an isolated island. They are the protectors of the seed bank, which is in case the world ever needed to basically restart agriculturally. There is a seed bank that has all the seeds they would need to restart. And it is very sensitive. It needs to be held at a certain temperature and everything. And this family guards the seed vault on this island. And one day a woman washes ashore, and she knows things she shouldn't, but she also is asking questions, and it's kind of tearing the family apart. So freaking good. Okay, anyway, next I have The Woman in the Library. I'm gonna sit over here. Next I have The Woman in the Library. This is a thriller mystery. We have all these different people that meet in a library for the first time. They're there for different reasons, and there is a dead body found, and we kind of have to do a whodunit. So good. I remember reading this in one sitting and just thinking, wow, this is so addicting to read. And if I could just be in a cabin right now with some like fuzzy slippers on in front of a fireplace reading that again, totally would. Next I have Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I read this for the first time this year, and I'll be honest, the first time I tried to read this I DNF'd it, but the second time I flew through it because I loved it so much. This follows our main characters who are rivals, would you believe it? They're rivals at a newspaper company, and they are trying to compete for the top spot to become a journalist and like have their own column. And this is also in a world where there are gods that are at war, and people have chosen sides of either god, like one god or the other. And our main character's brother has enlisted for the war and has gone missing, and she is really just attached to this idea that she's going to find him. And our other main character doesn't really understand her motivations and doesn't really get like why she's so obsessed with finding her brother. So very, very good. Loved the magic in this. There is magical typewriters. It was just such a good book. Very cozy vibes. Next we have some non-cozy vibes, and that is The Poppy War. I love this book. I'm actually planning on rereading it next year. It's technically on my currently reading on Goodreads because I started it earlier this year, but I just didn't get very far into it. But I remember reading this for the first time on the plane, and on a plane, not the plane, on a plane, and just like being so enthralled and obsessed with the way that R.F. Kuang just makes this world in my head. And I would kill to read it again. So guess what? We're reading it again. But that follows our main character. I want to say her name is Rin, but she is very poor, and she has darker skin, and so she is kind of at the lower part of her society, and she tests at the top of her class into an elite military college, and she is hated there because of her skin color and because of where she's from and her social class and everything. But she wants to prove everybody wrong and become like the best warrior there has ever been. And she's very morally gray, a villain at times, and I just freaking love her. So can't wait to read that and move on with the series next year. Next, I have The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. This is, wow, this book is a little wild. It follows our main character as she is invited. This is another one I read in one sitting, like when it came out. And we have all these writers that are invited to this elusive writer's house. She's a very famous writer, but she doesn't do interviews, she doesn't do anything like that. And she invites like this group of, I think it's all women, to come to her house and to stay at her estate and to have a writing retreat. And shit hits the fan real hard. So yeah, that's all I'll say about that one, but that one's really good. And I think it's set in winter if I can remember correctly. So, and finally, I have Legends and Lattes. This is probably the lowest rated book on this list for me. A lot of these were 5 stars. Legends and Lattes only gave 3 stars, but it is so cozy, and I think it would be the perfect read for this time of year. It follows our main character, Liv, something like that. She's an orc, and she is retiring from her battlefield days and starts a coffee shop. And she is teaching this tiny town what coffee is because she found it amongst her travels, and is bringing it to this small town with all these creatures. And she's introducing coffee and not cupcakes, but like pastries and stuff to all these creatures. And it's just a really cozy time. There's a little tiny bit of like suspense and like drama in there just to like drive the plot a little bit, but otherwise it's very low stakes, very chill, and I'd recommend it. I haven't picked up the second book. I'm not sure I'm going to, but I would reread Legends and Lattes. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you've been enjoying Vlogmas. Make sure to subscribe if you have not already, and give this video a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below of your favorite holiday read or winterish read, whatever fits your criteria. You make up your own criteria, please. And I will see you very, very soon. Bye. Well, by soon I mean tomorrow, because Vlogmas. Okay, bye.